Thank you. You guys weren't reading my notes up here, were you? And I put some books out here so people could look at them. I want them back. Oh, there they are, okay. Wait till you see them, by the way. The people who look through them, I'm telling you, they're even laid out to the point where, like by survey, they're the easiest things in the world to read. Everything to take away the non-confront. I mean, really, they're just easy to read. One thing I might not have mentioned is the definitions that are in there are literally drawn from right at that time period, so it's a definition as applies then. And as for the dictionary, like I say, all of this actually, the dictionary doesn't get done as a separate project. It just all of a sudden is at the end of the whole project. You get what I mean? Okay, right. Now let's talk about the last frontier here on speed of auditor training, and I'm going to give you a little insight as to what's coming up. And I'm still going to hold something out on you, though. I am. There's one thing I'm holding out on you. I've been holding out for a while because I've been promising it for a long time, but this is required. Nope, I'm not going to tell you. There you go. I'll tell you one thing I'll tell you. How many trained auditors in this room? How many trained auditors? Good. I might have found, now for real, the missing element, skip gradient, for all of you, unless you've studied one particular thing. I've just told you about this HQS, now I'm going to tell you. Trained auditors, BC, Academy, whatever, okay? Now, raise your hands if you've studied the lectures that are released as Skills of a Theta Being.
I've listened.
Good for you. You should listen to them again, because if you haven't listened to them, it's like a hole. It's a chasm the size of the Grand Canyon. It's the worst title in the world to put on them, and I'm going to fill this one in because this is, first of all, let's get to the 3 parts of training, and one is knowledge. And this one's recent. Going through the lectures, 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 going through. I was telling you about this the other night. And you get to those lectures, and it's like, whoa, wait a second, what is this? Which resulted in the following string pull. Following string pull goes like this. Okay, you want an academy guy, and everybody knows we want that academy guy to be able to handle life. It's not just audit. Okay, and I'm going to look at that course. Okay, what else do we get in this course that RH wanted on this course so this guy can handle anything? I mean, you know, your business, job, etc. It's exactly what he meant. Okay, then it goes from that series because they are the missing link. And again, not just Dave's idea. No, okay, why do I say that? I said, no, there's something here. Which got me onto the following. And this ties into you going on to your solo, if you're not a trained BC, the BC, the academy. Let's take a look at it now. We had people as a pro auditor or a certified auditor. Pro auditor if you were in England, certified in America, certified meaning insane in England, so they called it a pro auditor. So you're HCA, HPA, that's why the difference. No, that is the reason. It's Harvard certified auditor, that means you're certifiably insane, so it's Harvard professional auditor in England. So you hear HCA, HPA training, okay. I thought everybody knew this, okay. Here, okay. Oh, I'll tell you some other things then, okay. Now, they do an ACCs, but then the briefing course starts, okay? But anybody who's been in the briefing course, it picks up at that point there. And it's going along, and like I say, it's a lot on goals, et cetera. And at the end of all this, you get the grade chart, and now LRH codifying the whole grade chart, which is really drawn from all these materials, like what we went through, service facsimiles, a lot of the process. They're drawn from that with modern auditing, model session, et cetera, applied to it, okay? I said, wait a second. What were these guys doing before they arrived at St. Hill when the briefing course started? That's my question. Well, they're HPAs or HCAs. Okay, fine. But then the academy levels, they come out of the briefing course, and a lot of that data is just from the briefing course lectures. But wait a second, they're going to be, we know we just want a basically skilled guy in the academy. Okay, no, they were HPA auditors going to the briefing course. And then, as I started pulling it, okay, that's what they had to do. Well, then after the briefing course, you used to have to be briefing course to do solo, too. And of course, we now have it that if you're clear, you can just do the briefing course, right? But okay, how does this match up? Because some people on the briefing course, you'd be surprised at the requests I get from people on the briefing course, untrained auditors, the amount of things they want on it to extend the length of it to hopefully, I guess, by the time we're done, 50 years, okay? It's great that a guy's really spending a long time on book one, but if we get the guy in the briefing course, we don't want that lineup for everybody. Do you get what I mean? We want him to get the data, and this lineup, he's going to get it. So what else were they doing on solo or whatever? Well, half of the answer is those 1956, these lectures. They were done after Fundamentals of Thought to make a course for this non-pro auditor, meaning the non-professional auditor, professional Scientologist. And that is what they were done for. I mean, there are letters. I've got to put this together so they have the application of this, and they're a real Scientologist in life. And later on, he says that 56 pro course is, of course, HQS, which is the equivalent to your little HCA, HPA sort of. It's right in the briefing course lectures. Then we get to the next one, though. Skills of a theta being. Somebody put a title on this, and it really, like I say, well, they actually have already been slaughtered, so don't worry about it. Because that's got to be the worst title in the world, and it's just completely non-descriptive and misleading, and it looks like, this is one of your OT hatting. He is going on, here's what happens. He's going on 1965. Where are the lectures on these basics, axioms, codes, scales, etc.? 67. 68. I have the handwritten. 71, he asks again. 73 says, where are these? Okay? And finally, somebody pulls them out, and they never went out. And then after that, now, how did this get lost? Somebody in Washington, D.C., during the period of the briefing course without his authorization, decided, oh, great, we'll just remove those lectures from the lineup, which are the ones. What are these? Well, this is more like what they are, because it's exactly what he calls them, the fundamentals of fundamentals. It's right in the lecture. These lectures take up each subject of Scientology, go through this whole chart I've just shown you, one by one, 1 hour, the entire subject. It's not to say this isn't going to give you a much more depth of understanding, but he does take them. Oh, I'll give you an example. Okay, beingness and communication. It takes up what beingness is, start to finish, every angle, 360-degree view, turns it inside out and says, there you go, now we're done with that one. Universes, what the different universes are, 360 degrees, inside out, every angle, we're done with that. The dynamics, inverted dynamics, what they have to do with universes, how these all interrelate, everything on the dynamics. In other words, if you were to pick one lecture that would have the greatest description and cover everything that could possibly be said about the dynamics, it's in that one lecture. And these were recorded to be that pro course, and they're called the actual Hubbard Professional Auditors Course Lectures, Special Professional Auditor Course Lectures. And they are the missing link. And it is, and has been, a missing element. And if you were even vaguely a Scientologist, the level of understanding you need to understand these is if you were vaguely a Scientologist. About the only thing in here that you may, if you haven't had it in previous training for even a new person, is OW, motivator, what it means. It's about it. Otherwise, you pick these up and listen to them, and I'm telling you, they're almost like a classic lecture in simplicity, because he says, I'm taking it down to rock bottom basics, and you're going to become a pro, and I'm going to teach you the subject. And it was to give the complete and utter description on each thing of Scientology. And I mean, he takes it right through scales beyond the, oh yeah, we have these scales, and the codes, oh yeah, that's cool, we follow that. And it really turns them inside out as applies to dynamics, beingness, et cetera, till you know the whole subject. Okay, you want to fill in the hole? There you go. That's the one. For our auditor training, that's the one. It literally is the whole, positively, not maybe. Okay, so much for that. That's the end of that. I'm not going to give any more horror stories like that, and I'm sorry. We've been working on this for a long time, but you finally get through it all, and then it's just pull, and you go, my God, this is going to be something. Now let's get down to application. Okay. Application. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple neat things coming up. Because I also have this problem of no matter what else you put out, we want to expand, get groups going, open up new orgs, people learn. What do? It's the basic problem of, it's KSW, that's all. But we know where people really slow down now in their training. Put aside what I'm going to do to speed up in terms of their missing gradient. What this is going to mean. Imagine a new guy coming in, hasn't had all these years of experience. Look at us. I mean, I want to have the 18 to 20-year-olds here on OTA. You get what I mean? And this we're talking about, you know, look at us. Okay, complexities. Man, that meter is apparently complex to people because people can take a long time in that metering course, okay? There's two things you can bug. People can get into this endless TRs. You need TR soup, but metering. This is really a frontier on golden age of tech because, of course, the whole, if you take a look at what that is, it's just drilling the right way to do something, you get it. But a metering guy, without somebody really knowing his stuff standing over him, the guy can really go off the rails and be at it forever, and he's positive he can't make it. And I run into it practically every time I go somewhere. Even last time I was at St. Hill, there's a guy there, having been on 90 months or whatever. And I've been at it, and it's just miscalling reason. You have to just slap him around pretty hard, actually. But boy, he gets it, and you're talking 5 minutes. So we've been working on a couple things here. Here we go. I'm going to show you one thing that now we got to, believe it or not, simplicity, but it does work. Here's our little pilot. Okay. And this, hopefully, look at this you're seeing prototype stuff here now. Okay, let's start in this little display here. Okay, and then this isn't coming out tomorrow. No, really, this is between us now. This is not coming out tomorrow. This is not. This is just getting, no, it is not. But I'm going to show it to you. Deal? What happens? if anybody's here been on a pro metering course,
Yes.
what, you see people and they walk over to the TV, they're measuring the read. Okay, we get all these things. How long have you been on it? 7 months. Really, what have you been doing? For the last 6.5, I've been on my final assessment. It shouldn't be like that. Okay. Here's a little device, and here's a training aid that really is going to speed this up. This is a Reads recorder, and it's right there for the guy in doing the assessment. So here you go. Student would be there. It's got a microphone, a headset. Coach would have it as well, right? I'm going to play it for you over the speakers because obviously you're not going to all be able to hear this, you know. And what this does is a guy doing an assessment or any reads, it records it onto a hard drive. It will record hundreds of hours. You record many assessments on it, and they play them back immediately, and it plays back on the meter. And here we go. I'll give you got the camera on there? Okay, here we go. There's just a little setup here. You can see it looks a bit odd. Okay. Right here, various buttons and whatever, different files, meaning which assessment did they do, you know? It just goes up, I can move it up. Okay, I'm just gonna play one now. Imagine somebody just did an assessment. You're gonna have to get it on the meter. I played back their assessment that second. You have to show this whole
What
thing.
vegetable do you like the least? Spinach?
And there it all is right there, instantaneously.
Turnips? Leeks? Potatoes? Celery?
Okay, we go to the next assessment, and that one they're checking.
Which musical instrument would you like to play? A flute? A clarinet? A contrabass? A guitar? And a...
Okay, so we put this in a course room, and we did do it, because I thought, well, I don't know, I mean, is it really going to... It's instant, that's the point. The coach and the student are there. We haven't had a student bug in the pro metering that's been doing it yet. I mean, it literally has reduced it down to check sheet time because it's right there. We're not to a video, we're not to a screen, we're not to anything else. It's instant, anybody can go back and play it, even if the soup wasn't watching them, there it is. So that's step one, and it's end of metering bugs. Okay. Yeah. Now, that's something we've been developing, and I just have to get all the interfaces ready so people can hook it up in their, to their meters in their room, and that's probably the furthest in the distance from these, quite frankly. And there's several of these things we just developed, and Okay, in any event. Now here's another one. Here's we really get. And this is something I've been able to take from Flag, and I'm going to be able to bring it right down to org level. Because one thing you know, if you've been through the Flag AO down there, you notice that they can record their sessions. Every single one on a hard drive, high security, no videotapes floating around. You can look right at the session. If you knew the cost of that baby, whoa, that wasn't going to be too viable to put in the orgs. So we've been working on this for a couple of years, and we have a system here that for $15,000, $20,000, maybe we can put it into an org with 2 HGCs networked throughout the entire place, into their qual cramming, into their CS office, into everywhere. Now, let's take a look, and look what you can do now. First of all, put aside the CS looking at it. Best auditor criticism is your own. BC tape. Look at your session. You know you suck. Right? So, a guy goes into cramming, I mean, you know, right there, and it talks about, in that tape it talks about, you know, you can look at your session, he was talking about listening to it. He says, the guy always thinks the session went off the rails at the wrong point. He's gonna hear it went off the rails 15 minutes earlier. Now to be able to see it, you really do see it. You see the whole thing crumble and fall apart. And it's, you know, it's in terms of training, like, look, we can do everything we want in the course room, but you know the guy is white-knuckled by the time he's going in session with the public. And if you don't know that, he is. I have never seen an auditor, if I see an auditor that isn't scared out of his mind, he doesn't care then. I mean, they are terrified back there, like, I'm gonna have a real person in front of me, and this is, Jesus, yeah. Get in the room. And you wanna weld the door shut, because the quickest they wanna do is bail, and unless you can get them to go through it, they're never gonna become certain or have their own confidence. And once they do, then they will. But anyway, we have this, and what it does, it basically records the whole session, but again, it plays it back over an actual meter for both the auditor and the CS. It's not just recorded there, we actually see the session. And to give you an example of what it can do, you on this now? Here's just a little assessment. You know, so it's recorded on the hard drive. Here you go, I can just hit play, here we go.
Squeeze the cans, please. Thank you. Take a deep breath and let it out. Thank you. We're going to assess the prepared list. Okay. What country would you like to live in?
See?
United Kingdom, Ireland, Sweden, Denmark.
Okay, so you get the idea. Now, let's imagine a long session too. The types of things you can do, you can look in the worksheets. Well, here's what's gonna happen. This is why it takes a bit to get this totally right. If the meter's modified, so when they hit the TA reset button, the 0, right? It starts a clock running on the computer. Now we got the time, we now have an idea in the session where it is, and literally, the ease with which you can do it is you can just grab your little icon. Oops, let me just get over here, I'm a righty, sorry. You know, and you can scan it along, go to any part of the session you want.
Hungary?
It's got the time right there on the clock.
Yugoslavia, Greece,
Focus it in any part of the session.
Ukraine,
So,
Turkey?
there you go. That's our
Saudi
session
Arabia?
record system, which is going to be our
Lebanon?
next frontier in quals in every Class 5 org in the world. And what that does, that's the main bug on the practical end, the main bug on now you want to intern people, get them to audit, and those are really the two quals of the whole lineup in addition to what else I've been telling you. And as I say, it's not that far in the future, it's just a matter of manufacturing being able to interface everything and just getting it done. There's a lot of work being done in a lot of these systems, that sort of thing. Everything else you see around here, you know, your high definition system, somebody developed that, we're getting it down to the point when we open up a new org, permission, we send out a file, be able to do it over the internet. It plays back off the computer in high definition. No disk even has to go out. Do you get what I mean? We have systems being developed, little ones for groups. So if they just have their study group or whatever, they can play any of these different things, events or whatever, right there in their org, to missions, so we can get them a system that's takes all these different systems we have into their just one room, because they're gonna have all the space that an org is gonna have. So they have the benefit of many of the public films, lectures, things of that nature, and we get all these lineups out to the org. That's a little bit in the future. not that far, but I'm basically giving you, what am I trying to do? I gotta tell you something, what am I trying to do? Every one of these things, no matter how complex they all seem or different in the whole week of events, there's one reason for all this. Just get people up the bridge, that's it. You get it that way, and that's all. And it's every one of these. I mean, I go, well, books, okay, they're gonna make it quicker in session, plus they're gonna have the data they need, they'll make it in any course. Get out all these materials, so we have all the materials for every different type of service. It's not that everybody on the whole planet is going to have to be doing all of a sudden the whole chronological study, 1950, until they get up and then they can make it to OT. No, it's that you can now take the elements, that guy's had it on this guy's had it on that, and that's how we get the 1,000,001 functions and services back into operation in the org, and that's really where we go on that whole public phase and the technical phase, quite frankly. Okay? So that's your general overview, and as I say, there is even another item that I haven't even mentioned that I think is bigger than everything else I spoke to you about so far. That's later. I haven't mentioned the OEC in 15 languages. I haven't mentioned what we're doing on superpower, although I swear that opens, that would be a whole day. That's gonna be beyond NASA. It's gonna be, and it's not, there's a lot of work being done on these sort of things. So that's your general overview, which I wanted to give you. And like I say, it spans out over the next year. I didn't mention OT 9 and 10. When I say it's getting everybody up the bridge, it's actually, let's get that opened up and let's have the flood right up the line too. I mean, let's just take us as the pilot cases who did the, you get the idea, and make that route so streamlined for everybody. It is a straight shot forever. Way beyond into eternity. So that's what this is all about. What I wanted to leave you with is something to remind you of something you did very well on last year, and that is the message to Garcia. And I thought you'd like to hear it from LRH, which is him relaying it in the special evaluation lectures, and that is what I'm going to leave you with. And I know when you go out this year, I don't need to give you 1,000,000 tactical orders. We know what the purpose is. And there is a basic target that I'll give you, which is which is a vital target of every mission order ever written. Did you know this? And it's do anything necessary to accomplish your mission purpose.
I was very interested that a few years ago, Elbert had dashed out this thing. It says that it was written one night after supper in a single hour. The New York Central Railroad ordered, after they had seen this in one of Hubbard's magazines, they ordered 100,000 copies of it and distributed to their employees. And then their employees evidently kept distributing this to other people, so they ordered 500,000 copies. By that time, Andrew Carnegie and a few of the boys had stepped in, and they began to order this little pamphlet until finally there were millions and millions of these little bits, message to Garcia, distributed throughout America in this fashion. It demonstrates that there is a small amount of anxiety then on the subject of trying to find a good man to employ. In all this Cuban business, there is one man stands out on the horizon of my memory like Mars at perihelion. When war broke out between Spain and the United States, it was necessary to communicate quickly with the leader of the insurgents. Garcia was somewhere in the mountain fastnesses of Cuba. Nobody knew where. No mail or telegraph could reach him. The president must secure his cooperation quickly. What to do? Someone said to the president, "There's a fellow by the name of Rowan. We'll find Garcia for you if anybody can." Rowan was sent for and given a letter to be delivered to Garcia. How the fellow named Rowan took the letter, sealed it up in an oilskin pouch, strapped it over his heart, and 4 days landed by night off the coast of Cuba from an open boat, disappeared into the jungle, and in 3 weeks came out on the other side of the island, having traversed the hostile country on foot, and delivered his message to Garcia, are things I have no special desire now to tell you in detail. The point that I wish to make is this. McKinley gave Rowan a letter to be delivered to Garcia. Rowan took the letter and did not ask, "Where is he at?" By the eternal, there is a man whose form should be cast in deathless bronze, and the statue placed in every college of the land. It is not book learning young men need, but a stiffening of the vertebrae which will cause them to be loyal to a trust, to act promptly, concentrate their energies, do a thing, carry a message to Garcia. General Garcia is dead now, but there are other Garcias. No man who has endeavored to carry out an enterprise where many hands are needed, but has been well nigh appalled at times by the imbecility of the average man, the inability or unwillingness to concentrate on a thing and do it. Slipshod assistance, foolish inattention, dowdy indifference, and half-hearted work seem the rule. And no man succeeds unless by hook or crook or threat he forces or bribes other men to assist him, or mayhap God in his goodness performs a miracle and sends him an angel of light for an assistant. You, reader, put this matter to a test. You are sitting now in your office. 6 clerks are within easy call. Summon anyone and make this request. Please look up in the encyclopedia and make a brief memorandum for me concerning the life of Correggio. Will the clerk quietly say, yes, sir, and go do the task? On your life, he will not. He will look at you out of a fishy eye and ask one or more of the following questions. Who was he? Which encyclopedia? Where is the encyclopedia? Was I hired for that? Don't you mean Bismarck? What's the matter with Charlie doing it? Is he dead? Is there any hurry? Can't I bring you the book and let you look it up for yourself? What do you want me to know for? And I will lay you 10 to 1 that after you have answered the questions and explained how to find the information and why you want it, the clerk will go off and get one of the other clerks to help you try to find Garcia, and then come back and tell you there is no such man. Of course, I may lose my bet, but according to the law of average, I will not. Now, if you are wise, you will not bother to explain to your assistant that Correggio is indexed under the C's, not under the K's. But you will smile sweetly and say, never mind, and go look it up for yourself. And this incapacity for independent action, this moral stupidity, this infirmity of the will, this unwillingness to cheerfully catch hold and lift, these are the things that put pure socialism so far into the future. If men will not act for themselves, what will they do when the benefit of their effort is for all? A first mate with knotted club seems necessary, and the dread of getting the bounce Saturday night holds many a worker to his place. Advertise for a stenographer, 9 out of 10 who apply can neither spell nor punctuate and do not think it necessary to. Can such a one carry a message to Garcia? You see that bookkeeper, said the foreman to me, in a large factory? Yes, what about him? Well, he's a fine accountant, but if I'd send him up to town on an errand, he might accomplish the errand all right, and on the other hand, might stop at 4 saloons on the way, and when he got to Main Street would forget what he'd been sent for. Can such a man be entrusted to carry a message to Garcia? We have recently been hearing such maudlin sympathy expressed for the downtrodden denizens of the sweatshop and the homeless wanderer searching for honest employment. And with it all, often go hard words for the men in power. Nothing is said about the employer who grows old before his time in a vain attempt to get frowsy ne'er-do-wells to do intelligent work, and his long, patient striving after health that does nothing but loaf when his back is turned. He was bitter. As a matter of fact, he'd been running Roycroft for some time, a whole town of people. In every store and factory, there's a constant weeding out process going on. The employer is constantly sending away help that have shown their incapacity to further the interest of the business, and others are being taken on. No matter how good times are, this sorting continues. Only if times are hard and work is scarce, the sorting is done finer. But out and forever, out, the incompetent and unworthy go. It is the survival of the fittest. Self-interest prompts every employee to keep the best, those who can carry a message to Garcia.